Finished talking about 50 Shades of Grey. I'm going to talk about some recent things I've heard about. Alien5, the Power Rangers fan film, and the death of Leonard Nimoy. Alien5. Now, I love the Alien franchise. I'm a big Alien fan. As far as what specifically I like the first two movies. And honestly, I like them both equally, but only because trying to say which is the better movie is like, I'm trying to think of an analogy here. Well, it's hard to try to compare and contrast. I mean, yes, you can compare and contrast, but as far as which is the better movie, I mean, really, they're both different movies as far as style and themes go. Alien is more of a horror. I mean, it is a straight up horror movie, and I mean it's a sci-fi horror. And Aliens is more sci-fi action horror, and they both have different themes and ideas. You know, Alien is about being stalked by a merciless creature, a lone creature out in space. It's trying to be like the Jaws or Texas Chainsaw Massacre of science fiction, and Aliens is more like it's the war film. It's about war. It's about war and corporations manipulating the military and doing their dirty work and everything. So, but yeah, but ever since Aliens, though, and I know I'm not the only one saying this, but ever since Aliens, the franchise has kind of been like, eh. I mean, Alien 3 was really I wouldn't say it's not just a bad movie, and it's not just a bad Alien movie. It's a pretty negative movie. It's a movie that's just depressing from start to finish, because the movie starts with an alien impregnating Ripley. Then the cryotubes are ejected out of the Sulaco and crash land on a prison planet where only Ripley and parts of Bishop are the survivors. Hicks and Newt get killed, and then Ripley's the only female inmate on a prison planet filled with male prisoners who are all rapists, murderers, sadists, you name it. The prison has little to no supplies, has no way of stopping a riot, has no weapons or anything. It's just really depressing, and the alien. And then there's an alien that impregnates a dog or a cow, depending on which version of the movie you see. Apparently, there's two different ways that the alien comes about, and it just kills everyone one by one. And then almost everyone dies, and then Ripley kills herself because she has an alien inside of her, and then that's it. The movie ends, and there's only one prison survivor. And then there's Alien Resurrection, and that was just really, really implausible, because one, that movie takes place 200 years after Alien 3, and there's a clone, and somehow Ripley is cloned. Okay, how did they make a clone of Ripley if she apparently was vaporized? And if she was cloned, why did it take them 200 years to do that? It's, as far as the Alien franchise is concerned, it takes place in the future. Technology has been advanced. Why would it take them 200 years to do that when they already got the advanced technology? Jeez. And not to say that there isn't any stupid moments in Alien and Aliens as well. I mean, like, both Alien and Aliens involve the humans in abandoning their leaving their big ship with no one to secure it, no one to make sure that it's safe or anything, and they just go down to the planet. I mean, In Alien, the entire crew of the Nostromo leaves their space tanker out in space, almost for anyone to hijack it and steal it. And then they come back with an alien on board, violating quarantine protocol. I know it's supposed to advance the story and everything, but what can you do? And then in Aliens, the Colonial Marines, they leave the Sulaco out there floating around in space. And they have to resort to remote piloting one of the APCs down to them because the other APC was destroyed. You couldn't leave even a... You're telling me there's literally no one up there in the Sulaco, not even a janitor. But, anyway. But still, Aliens were good movies, regardless of those nitpicky moments. Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection were just terrible. I'm not even going to get into the AVP movies. I mean... Honestly, I think the people who were making them were just trying to have fun with the idea of alien and predators fighting each other. And Prometheus, well, I wouldn't really regard that as an alien movie. It's really its own thing. Yes, it's set in the alien universe. Yes, it explores the space jockeys. But it's really more or less trying to be its own thing. And I really don't like the comparisons people keep constantly making. Like, can you believe that, some people say, can you believe the guy who directed Alien directed this? Okay. It's not trying to be like Alien. Yes, it's set in the same universe, but it's more or less trying to be more of a sci-fi movie than a horror movie. It's trying to go into the whole origins of humanity, why are we here, those kinds of questions. Yes, there's obvious cliffhangers that sometimes it makes things way too obvious, but it at least succeeded in doing what it was trying to do, trying to be a sci-fi movie about themes of origins of humanity, stuff like that. So, with that being said, Alien 5, I haven't seen any of Neil Blomkamp's work, District 9 or Elysium. I know he's making that new movie Chappie and Sigourney Weaver's in it, and he put out the Alien 5 concept art. At first I thought it was just him just putting his artwork out there, fan art and everything. But apparently that's something that he's working on. And then it became official. He's doing the next Alien movie. And I'm really excited for it because, it's that long-awaited sequel that people have wanted. And it's the sequel that should have been made instead of what actually happened after Aliens. Because I've been hearing mixed things. It's gonna somehow follow on after it. It's actually gonna be a standalone sequel to Aliens. It's gonna ignore Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection. And I'm like, yes! Yes! It's gonna ignore it. It's gonna be that terrible coma dream it's gonna be that terrible cryo coma dream that Ripley had. She wakes up and thinks, oh man, I had the most terrible dream. I dreamt I was on a prison planet, impregnated by an alien, killed myself, and then somehow 200 years later, I'm like some kind of weird alien hybrid thing, and the military for some reason is trying to make aliens, and oh man, it's just so stupid. Though, I'm hearing now that may not be the case. Who knows what's going to happen, but from what I heard, Sigourney Weaver is coming back, and that's awesome. And I'm hearing that Michael Biehn might come back as Hicks, and I'm really excited for that. If that, I know it was in the concept art, Hicks with the scarred face and everything from the acid burns that he got in Aliens. I'm thinking, if that happens, that would be so awesome. I like the Ripley character, don't get me wrong, but Hicks was my favorite character in Aliens. He was like the reluctant hero, He's good at his job, he's a good soldier and everything, and he's a capable leader. But it was more like him rising to the task after the previous leadership was kind of decimated at that point. But he really stepped up and became a total badass. And I thought this movie was kind of building up his character for him to be the main character in the next one. So, and I actually got to see Michael Biehn at Allentown Comic-Con, and that guy was just he was an awesome dude. I don't mean to put him on too high of a pedestal, but he is an awesome dude. And if they get him for Alien 5, that would be super sweet. Okay. But, I really do hope that Alien 5 ignores Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection. Okay, because those movies are just terrible. And I am especially glad that if that's the case, if it ignores Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, that means Colonial Marines no longer canon. I mean, I riff on that with a lot of people, and yes, people get sick of me riffing on it, but you know, I just can't wipe the stain of it out of my mind. And yeah, I have to play Alien Isolation. I should, but I don't have a PS4 or Xbox One yet. I want to get an advanced system and play it there, but oh man, it's the way that they did it, and it's just bad. That game was just bad. It was bad. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing that ever happened to the Alien franchise, but you know, it was one of those things where you kind of thought maybe this time this will be something good to come out of the Alien franchise since Aliens, or something else that was Alien related that was good besides Aliens, but no, it wasn't. So, what else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, the Power Rangers fan film. Yeah. Okay, I've loved Power Rangers since I was a kid. There were times when I was a little kid growing up in Virginia that I would go outside, pick up a stick, and pretend it's the Dragon Zord flute that Tommy would play in order to summon the Dragon Zord. I would just I've watched Power Rangers. I mean, I haven't watched some of the recent seasons. Like, I haven't watched much of Samurai or Megaforce. I haven't watched the new one, Dino Charge. Actually, I didn't. Okay, actually, I haven't watched much Power Rangers since Mystic Force. I've missed out on Operation Overdrive, though I watched some episodes of Operation Overdrive. And I never watched RPM or Jungle Fury. I've watched some of Samurai, a little bit of Megaforce, but yeah, here or there. My Power Rangers watching has been here or there lately, but the last full-on season I watched was Mystic Force, and but okay, here the thing about the Power Rangers fan film with you know, James Van Der Beek, Katie Sackhoff, and other people in it. Well, the thing of it is, I look at it as two different things. As a fan film, as a short film, I think that it's great. You know, it's got good practical effects, and sure, the special effects, they look a little dated, but it's actually pretty well made and pretty well shot. The violence is, I mean, yes, it's ultra violent. It's a little over the top, but it's actually a good kind of over the top, ultra violence. And yeah, it's fitting since it's produced by the same guy who produced the movie Dread and a couple other short films, you know, Punisher, Dirty Laundry, and Venom, Truth and Journalism. So yeah, I like it for that. And it's a little hammy. The acting and writing is a little hammy, but it's fitting given the ultra violent tone. But as something Power Rangers related, I mean, I do like the dark. I mean, I think that from Mighty Morphin up until maybe SPD or Mystic Force, Power Rangers had gotten considered. I mean, sure, it was marketed to kids. It appealed to kids, but it was also able to be a bit more mature than it actually was. It had good themes of, you know, I mean, good mature themes of teamwork, you know, loss and everything. Teamwork, loss, love, maybe even, I guess, maybe bigotry, society and stuff like that. Heck, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy even featured the first ever actual death of a Ranger. Well, supposed death. I mean, she did come back at the end of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, but yeah, Power Power Rangers has been, in a lot of ways, been a lot more mature than it actually is. But that fan film, you know, I mean, I think it's fitting that they allow the characters that we grew up with to, they did something that was more grown up, more mature. It was a bit too much, I'll admit. I mean, the violence, the blood, the gore, the drugs, the swearing and everything. I mean, I think it was just going way too extreme. But it was sort of good for doing that. And really, it's just a fan film. It's not really harming anyone, but I don't know. I think it's good for what it's worth. And if that Power Rangers movie that's being made by Lionsgate, once it happens, I hope that maybe it tries to find a balance between what Power Rangers actually is and what this fan film was. You know, try to find some kind of balance. Maybe do some kind of dark PG-13, mature, but also able to be watched by everyone. You know, families and everything. Something like what The Dark Knight and Captain America and, you know, recent dark comic book movies are able to do, you know? But also have, you know, some lighthearted fun. I don't know, hopefully that'll happen, but I really don't think it's worth, you know, putting a ban on it. I mean, again, it was a fan film. They put up their own money on it. They're not trying to, I don't think they're trying to make any money off of it. So really let them put it up there. And if Power Rangers, if kids who watch Power Rangers go and watch this, maybe there should be some kind of, you know, some kind of, you must be 18 or older to watch this type of thing. Something like that, you know, that kind of consideration. Alright, and finally, the death of Leonard Nimoy. Now, the only thing I could say, one of the things I could say is, you know, to quote Shatner from Wrath of Khan, sort of paraphrasing the quote a bit, of the man, I could only say this: out of all the souls I have seen in my travels, his was the most human. And I mean, I know that was speaking about the character of Spock, but you know, there's the whole, you know, Nimoy as Spock, you know, the whole thing, you know, I am Spock, I am not Spock, you know, that kind of thing. But Nimoy was Spock and so much more. He was an alien who tried to learn what it means to be human. He was that outsider. He was the stoic, but he had so much depth and emotion and humanity. And he also played a secret agent, Mission Impossible. I didn't watch that, but and he voiced Galvatron, and he was a psychiatrist in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. But he did that and so much more. And the fact that he's gone, I mean, I know he was old, and yes, he was having health problems, but it just seemed, again, like with other deaths, you know, it just seemed so sudden. I mean, I don't think no one saw it coming, but it was probably going to happen anyway. But the man, he was a great actor, and yeah, it was like the whole retirement thing was like back and forth, you know, but he still did some live action stuff. He did some voice work. He did Fringe. I haven't watched that, but I should. He did the new Star Trek movies, which was great. You know, it was a great passing of the torch, you know, and I'm sure that Zachary Quinto does a fantastic job as Spock, you know, able to continue what Leonard Nimoy had, able to not only just replicate what Leonard Nimoy did with the character, but add more layers to him. It's like, in a way, it's like the Spock and Leonard Nimoy will live on, not just through Star Trek, but in Zachary Quinto, but a lot of things. And it's just, hearts and minds.